And first we're going to start things off with the Sag Awards, which is just huge news in Hollywood and giving us an idea of what we can look for at the Oscars. So, to kick off the headlines, Allison McGevna of Fox411.com.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are you?
Good, thank you. So, very interesting show last night. It was fun, it was funny at moments, and I have a little, here's what I got out of it, and then I'll show you the highlight clips that I picked. Basically, Colin Firth, Natalie Portman, and Christian Bale, as I said in the last hour, they can pretty much practice their Oscar speeches now. It's clear. The King's Speech also, because it won last night, that's a really good indicator. It's going to win at the Oscars. But what I also noticed, and you can tell me if you agree, Mark Wahlberg is huge behind the scenes.
Yeah.
This year, he made a lot of great producer choices. So he's a name to keep watching for the projects that he's attached to, because they're doing quite well. And Betty White, because just when we thought we couldn't love her more, we do. She gives an acceptance speech like that and just steals the show. So take a look, and then we'll discuss.
I cannot believe this. And they had to get the old broad up those stairs, and that's not easy. But to have this happen on top of, ooh.
Natalie Portman. The actor goes to the cast of The King's Speech.
Okay, so what the highlights were basically was obviously The King's Speech winning and Betty White, and we'll discuss later what it means, the implications. I mean, it's great. Somebody at 89 is being so honored this year.
Yes.
We're going to discuss that later. And Christian Bale was on stage with the person that he plays on screen.
Dickie Eklund, yep.
Yes, and Natalie Portman. So were those the same highlights that you found?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a really kind of, you know, predictable award season. The people that are the front runners are really the ones who have, you know, been taking all the awards. The King's Speech. I mean, I think, as you said, that Natalie, Colin, and Christian, and even Melissa Leo, it looks like are shoo-ins for these awards. So it's great to see. I mean, they're all fantastic performances. I do think that we shouldn't count The Social Network out just yet. I mean, The King's Speech is really, you know, The Social Network was the original frontrunner, and then now The King's Speech has kind of swept the last few awards, the Directors Guild, the Screen Actors Guild, Golden Globes, of course. And, you know, but I think that we shouldn't count The Social Network out just yet. So
I agree, and I'm not 100% counting it out. Although I do have somewhat of a theory, and let me know if you agree, let me know if you agree. Sometimes a lot more is made of the movie than it actually is. Not that it wasn't a great film, but is it the best picture of the year? Or is it that we're all in Facebook mode right now? That everybody, you know, Mark Zuckerberg was Time People of the Year, Person of the Year. And it just seems like we're in this mode where we're always talking about social media, Twitter and Facebook. Is that being reflected in what people are making this movie out to be, like representing 2011, 2010?
Well, I also would agree. You know, I've made this argument throughout the award season that I personally think Inception was the best movie of the year, but it seems to me that the Academy especially kind of has a thing about Christopher Nolan, and he wasn't even nominated for Best Director. I think it certainly was, aside from Toy Story 3, was the most successful in the box office of the nominees. So really, I think that, yes, I do think the Academy remains a little bit out of touch with what's, you know, kind of the reality. But yeah, I think people were interested in The Social Network to kind of see how Facebook started. Great movie. The King's Speech, another great movie. But I agree. I don't think that either one of those, as much as I enjoyed both, were the best movie of the year.
All right. Well, all deserving of a nomination, and we'll see who actually takes the gold. And who took the gold on the red carpet for you? Let's start with the best. I always like to start on the positive note.
Yes,
the best.
Yes. Well, I think everyone would kind of argue that Sofia Vergara was stunning on the red carpet last night. She wore Roberto Cavalli, and she had just a gorgeous dress on. It was form-fitting, and it showed off her curves, and it was a bright color. It was just absolutely gorgeous and stunning.
Most memorable.
Most memorable, yes, yes. And then my surprise pick, other pick for the best dressed was January Jones. She wore a Carolina Herrera dress, and as you can see, it's a little bit of a risk. And when I first saw it, I said, "Oh, what is she wearing?" But then I kind of looked at it. I liked that she was covered up. She's been really kind of racy and a little overly sexy lately. It has that old Hollywood glamour we like to see her, like, you know, Betty Draper from Mad Men. So those were my 2 picks. And of course, honorable mention I'd have to say is Mila Kunis.
Oh, yes.
Alexander McQueen.
It looked very light.
Yes, flowy.
Was it
made
hot?
us think of spring.
It was a hot night.
I'm not sure.
Because it looked very light,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
you saw a lot of people in a lot of those pale nude colors again.
Yeah.
And the worst?
Yes, well, I think there were far more worse than there were good, in my opinion. I've been really disappointed in Natalie Portman. She wore an Azzaro gown last night. You know, yes, I understand she's pregnant. People say, you know, oh, it's hard for her to kind of find the right dresses, but I mean, how many actresses have been pregnant in Hollywood and looked amazing on the red carpet? I just think it's shapeless, it's boring. She's usually such a style star, and I just feel like this was her time to really shine, and she's kind of just been a little underwhelming. My second choice has to go to Ava Longoria. I mean, this is just the most ill-fitting, strange, toga-looking dress. I did not like it. I know maybe she's trying to show off a sexier side. You know, her divorce was finalized today, but this was the wrong choice. It was ill-fitting. It made her look bigger than she is. I just wasn't interested in it. My honorable mention for worst has to be Christina Hendricks, who listened to us with, we said, not too sexy this time, but she was kind of covered up in a dark, gothic-y L. Ren Scott gown.
So she went the extreme other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
She's got to find a happy medium.
Got it. All right, so, and then were there any other fun moments of note?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Natalie Portman's acceptance speech was really cute. And, you know, she always she said, you know, that her parents kind of taught her not to be, you know, and she used some profanity, but it was really cute and kind of lighthearted and funny. It's nice to kind of see her being just a little bit honest, you know, though I'm sure some people think she could, you know, tone down the language a little bit. I personally really liked that moment with Christian Bale when Dickie Eklund came on stage. I thought that was really cute. It's nice to see Christian Bale being happy and nice as well.
His character came out a little.
Yeah.
His character voice came out.
Yes.
Because he has a very different persona.
Yeah.
And he's so laid back and calm. And he saw Dickie come out, and all of a sudden it was just this boisterous. I thought of him in the movie right away.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a really cute moment. And then, of course, I mean, who didn't love Betty White? She's just adorable.
So, yes, and later on Holly on Hollywood, we're going to be talking about that and what it means and if this is a trend and a good trend.
Yes.
So we'll discuss that. And before I let you go, I want to talk about this weekend's box office winner, A Fright Night.
Yes.
And Sir Anthony Hopkins. So The Right.
The Right, yes. It took home $15 million. So, or I should say it brought in $15 million, didn't physically take it home. But it was a little bit, you know, it was kind of a surprise. I don't think that people were really expecting it to maybe do that well. To me, I think it's an indicator that people are kind of getting Oscared out. You know, the King's Speech held on, it was number 5, but all the other movies are non-Oscar nominees. There was No Strings Attached was number 2, made $13 million. The Green Hornet and The Mechanic tied for 3, and I guess, you know, that's really 3 and 4. So, I mean, it seems to me that people are kind of getting sick of these Oscar movies. They want to watch something fun and lighthearted, and what's better than a scary movie to have fun on a weekend box office night?
Absolutely. And now we do have a little more time, so there are some other 411 headlines. Well, actually, we do have to go to the break, but first we'll tease those headlines because we do have an update on Charlie Sheen.
Absolutely.
Over the weekend.
Yes.
He went into rehab, as was reported after that night on Thursday, so go check that out. And we also talk a little bit about Mark Zuckerberg, as we mentioned earlier, making his Saturday Night Live appearance with Jesse Eisenberg, who plays him in the movie.
Yes.
So always fun to see these guys and the people they play
together,
absolutely. Side by side.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Allison McGevna.
Thank you for having me.